we farm just outside North Berwick in East Lothian. We are a 430 acre arable farm largely, and we are surrounded by the three iconic images of East Lothian, being the Bass Rock, Tintagel Castle and North Berwick Law. A little bit about me. Although I'm from a farming background, I actually went into teaching and then came out of that in 2012, partly because we adopted two children and they needed my time. But it also gave me an opportunity to really get involved with the farm, which I always wanted to do. And I always said that if teaching wasn't right for me, then I would get out of it and do something else. And the opportunity presented itself. A year after that, I began an events business as a sole trader. It was something that Stuart and I had discussed for years prior to doing it, and he eventually managed to sow all the grass seed and said, right, that's it, we're running an events business. We had our first event in 2012, and the idea was that we would let it loose to whoever wanted to hire it, and they could do whatever they wanted, and that would be okay. However, the very first event carried on till 6 o'clock in the morning, and my in-laws ended up with ear defenders in order to be able to sleep over the bass music that was going on in the background. And so we decided after that, no more. And I took it over as a very, very small business. And then in 2018, we opened Drift, and I became a co-director along with Stuart of Drift Coffeehouse. Stuart continues to farm the farm, and I tend to lead and manage both the event site and the and Drift as an agritourism business. So a bit about the farm, because as Caroline mentioned right back at the beginning, you know, you're not an agritourism business unless there is a sort of a running farm or croft or estate in the background. Stuart's grandfather leased the farm in 1908, and as you can see, we're heading for 100th birthday this year, because he eventually bought the farm in 1921. Stuart's father took over the farm in the 70s and began to change a few things. He brought on chickens to the farm until the salmonella outbreaks, and that stopped that. And Stuart now manages the day-to-day running of it. And he is really looking to the future along with me beside him. We have ongoing succession discussions. I think a lot of farmers do. But we're getting there, partly with the help of the Monitor Farm programme that we have been part of, which has been so successful for us, and I know many others within the group. So as I said, we're an arable farm. We grow winter wheat, spring barley and winter beans. And Stuart is also part of the agri-environmental scheme, claiming that one of his fields for that scheme earned him more money than a field of wheat or barley last year. But it's a great project to be part of as well, and combined with our agritourism, the two are working quite nicely hand in hand. Some days can be an all family affair. It looks like my son Tommy there is solely laying EcoGrid down in our entrance to Drift. That was not the case. There were other adults involved, but the kids do love to get involved, and I think that is a really nice thing about farming in general. That's my daughter there carrying a tray of sunflowers, which we planted last year, and I think this year we might try and do the same again, but perhaps a sunflower maze for visitors to Drift to come around and then potentially pick their own sunflowers at the end. So agritourism for us actually started in around about the 1980s when my mother-in-law took over a few of the farm cottages and decided to renovate them and let them out as holiday lets. It was a very successful business for her. And as such, Stuart and I also refurbished one of the cottages. We would have been back in about 2007, 2008, and ran it as a holiday cottage for a short period of time. As I said, I started Castleton Events in 2013. We have a greenfield site. You can see with the pictures there, we've got Tintagel Castle in the background, and we look out onto the Bass Rock. It's a stunning setting, if not a little bit windy at times, but it is absolutely beautiful. And we really felt we needed to maximise out on those views. We opened the Drift doors in 2018. Now, Drift, I would say, was the fourth project, with only one other reaching planning stage. We were desperate to be able to branch out into the food and drink sector. And so we started with a massive farm shop development, but we realised it was just too big. But not only that, as a cereals farm, running a farm shop was quite tricky, especially when all the cereals go for making into beer, whiskey, vodka or gin. And so we felt really our farm shop would be more of an off license rather than an actual farm shop. So we had another couple of ideas, but again, they were all too big. And what we actually really realised was that we needed to go much smaller. And so Drift was born. It seats on average about 40 covers. Pre-COVID, we've had to reduce by half at the moment. Well, we're obviously not open inside at the moment, but about 40 covers. And in our first year, we welcomed about 80,000 visitors. So you might say, well, I thought you were going for a smaller project and you've taken on 80,000 visitors. It was huge. It just took off. The destination, you see, we're only 2 miles out of North Berwick. We're 35 miles out of Edinburgh. A lot of our visitors come from Edinburgh, but our main aim was to create a destination, and we've definitely created that, with lots of people coming from Stirling, Glasgow, down to Northumberland. We've got lots of people talking about it on the tube in London, apparently. One lady even from Oslo said, yes, I read it in a magazine in Oslo, and so I had to come over and have a look at it. As a result of the monitor farm and getting together post-lockdown and showing everyone around our farm, we've also now got followers as far as Canada, New Zealand, America, and they're regularly engaging in a lot of our social media posts, which is lovely. So by starting off small, we did start with coffee and cake. It became a bit much when I was baking. I was personally baking 200 slices of cake a day in a tiny 10-foot kitchen and thinking, help me, Bob, where am I actually going to place all these slices of cake? But it was working, with a lot of people wanting us to expand very quickly. So we did, and we expanded into soup. Following soup came brunch and a very small light lunch offering. At the end of the last lockdown, we also introduced our drift away trailer. There's a very small picture of it in the bottom right-hand corner. That has been our lifesaver, without a shadow of a doubt. It sits right out in front of the building. We're not planning on moving it anywhere because it really does capture all those people, all those customers that want a very, very quick bite to eat. We've changed a lot of our menu as a result so that it is quick takeaway offerings. So we've gone from full-on brunch to sausage rolls, bridies, cupcakes instead of cakes, anything to make life easier for the customer. Caroline kicked my bottom hard at the end of our first year in the monitor farm, and I have a phrase that Caroline uses quite a lot, which is, I'm not being funny, but what are you doing not getting a manager in yet? Joe, you still got a head in an oven making bacon rolls. You cannot see that bigger picture. So I realised I couldn't afford not to employ the manager. So I did. And as a result, now we not only have a manager, but I have a supervisor, I have a trainee supervisor, And together with Stuart and I, we've got a really quite good management team. And that has really allowed me to focus on the bigger picture, the broader picture. And as a result of that, we've also now got plans for a new event space. So we're taking our Greenfield site, hopefully, into a space for up to 120 people, with, again, brilliant infinity view to the castle, the Bass Rock, but allowing that opportunity for customers to have a space indoors, which is what we were finding a lot of people wanted. So why join agritourism? Well, I mean, first off, becoming the monitor farmer, East Lothian, the East Central monitor farmer, for us, it's opened doors, loads of doors, not only to the group, but to people like Lorna in Visit Scotland. It's one of those things, I was always on the edge with that and never quite knowing who to contact, but being part of this fabulous sector has really allowed me, to give me the confidence to be able to make those contacts, get involved with those people so that they can help you with your business. And as a result of that, I know that post-lockdown, we will have somebody coming to us at Drift to hopefully taste our new menu and offer us a taste rating. Direct routes to government, I don't think that's been covered much by Ayrshire, Selena, but for me, I've been involved in several calls with Fergus Ewing and asked several questions, and having that opportunity to have direct routes to government, I think is crucial. We need to make our voice heard, and there's no better way in having that direct route to government to ask the questions, put questions to, well, it's Fergus Ewing at the moment, and get those answers in return. So absolutely vital to this. The new website is looking great. It's going to be really exciting. It's a huge undertaking that Caroline's doing, but will be of massive benefit to this sector. I've absolutely no doubt in that. And forging those links, creating ties between our businesses, helping us to grow our businesses into something that perhaps, you know, we couldn't quite achieve if we were just doing it on our own. And finally, as Ailsa and Selena have mentioned, the support from others in this group is fabulous. I think I put a message out asking for any beef, pork, sheep, lamb farmers who would like to supply Drift with meat as we embark on a brand new inside menu. And I got multiple responses very, very quickly. And as such, it's great because I can now bring a story to Drift that I perhaps wouldn't have had I not been part of this group. So if anything's taken away from today, those would be my 4 top reasons to join. And that's basically me. I put a few details down there at the bottom. If anyone wanted to get in contact or ask any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.